Hey, everybody. It is Queen Sylvia of Extraordinary People. But this also might go on a different segment because I am going to either start a segment here that is going to talk about grief or I'm going to start a channel about grief. I don't know. Since this one already has some traction, I might keep it here. But I want to talk about grief and the grieving process and how everybody grieves. Now, as you know, or if you don't know, there's a video about grief that I did about 2 weeks ago about going to my uncle's funeral or not being able to go to his funeral because of some things that I just can't deal with as far as death is concerned, especially when people are close to me and the people that I love. Now, on that trip, I was gonna have to travel 200 miles. And in the middle of the night, I got the bubble guts. And then I threw up the next morning after I made the post about praying for traveling grace. Because I just didn't want to go because of funerals bring me back to my mom's death, and that is something that is so hard for me. If you ever loved your mom as much as I loved my mom, then it would be totally different. And then I can say that for me, but I can't say that for you because you might have loved your mom just as much or more, because you don't know how much I love my mom. And you might act totally different. So I can only speak for me. For me, funerals, the actual funeral is hard for me. Now, I can go to a wake. I normally don't go to the casket if you're someone that I loved and that I care about, or that's a family member. I choose to remember you the way you were alive and in all your glory. Not that anything is wrong with you there. It's just I don't want to see you there. I don't want that to be my last remembrance of you. When my mom passed, I didn't even go up to the casket on the wake. I think they rolled it by me at the funeral, but I wasn't really even there. But I already had taken the time out with my mom, and we had time to plan her funeral because of the situation they gave her really overnight to live, but she lived 13 days. So we were able to plan everything out with her. So that gave me some closure, but it was subconsciously in the back of my mind. I did not deal with it because it took years before I actually broke down. I thought I was okay, but I really wasn't okay. And then I talked about those 5 stages of grief, and then there's 2 more. And I'm writing a book about these. Now, there are several books out about the 5 stages of grief, and you can look them up, or I can put them on the screen as I edit this. I am trying to get away from editing because that is so much time, and I just need to get these videos out, and I need to get some traction on them. So if anything that I'm saying resonates with you, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and sharing this video out, and hitting that subscribe bell, the notification, so whenever I go live or whenever I upload a video, you can get that notification. Now, I am planning on starting to go live. I wanted to do it in February, but that didn't happen. So I'm not going to even say a date anymore. Just when I can figure it out, I'm going to try to do StreamYard first and start building up my lives. I had 127 subscribers. Someone left. And hey, it's okay if you leave because you wasn't going to follow me anyway. So if you feel like leaving, please do so I can get my true followers that really want to hear what I have to say. Now, I will admit that these first couple of shows or lately have been a lot of babbling if somebody doesn't want to hear that. But it's something that's coming from my heart for me. And I will get back to my tea talk soon. But this is the grieving section. Now, I talked about my uncle because I'm going to a funeral that I just attended on yesterday. Now, I had planned to just go to the wake, but I had to attend this Zoom that wasn't going to have a replay, and I had paid for it. So I had to attend that Zoom. So I didn't have to go to the funeral because I had already made up in my mind that I wasn't going to go at all, because this particular person was like a daughter to me. This particular person was at my house all the time. Her and my daughter were best friends and sisters. So she was like a daughter to me, and she called me mama. She called me mama. And every time she saw me, she kissed me on my jaw. And she never, ever, in all the 37 years or 30 that I was in her life, she's never been disrespectful. She's never said anything smart or acted any kind of way other than respectful and caring. That's just her personality. And whenever she sees me, she's gonna give me a hug, and she's gonna kiss me, and she's gonna say, "Hey, mama." Regardless of what's going on, she's gonna do that. I'll get into the rest of the things later. But what I want to talk about today is in comparison to my uncle's funeral, which was the last uncle on my mom's side through marriage. But it was like that's a piece of her that's going to be leaving again as well. So that was kind of hard for me. And then having the bubble guts and having to travel and have to be there in a certain time. I don't know if I can stop because I'm riding in the family car. So that wasn't going to be a good situation. So from that part, that was hard and that was difficult. So to the funeral on yesterday, which was like a child of mine. And it's hard to see young people being buried. And our prayers out to her mom and her husband and her children and all of her family. And my daughter, which was close to her as her best friend and sister. But for me, I saw the casket because I didn't go down when we first came in because I thought it was going to be a closed casket because they let you go around first. So I didn't go. I chose not to go. I did see the top of her casket where it had all of her beautiful pictures there. I did see that. But I didn't want to see her laying in the casket. So I didn't do that, even when it was time to leave. But there was something, because I haven't been to many funerals, and I've never seen this take place. They crowned her. They did a walking ceremony. I will wear a crown, or she will wear a crown. That was so touching and heartbreaking to me. I did everything that I could not to lose it because I call myself queen, but I call myself queen because I did pageants, and pageants wore crowns and tiaras. And I started a series. Well, I started a conference and a series. In 2018 was the first one that I did openly to the community. That I call them Sylvia's Queens, but it was a queen I support you. So I believe in giving people their crowns while they live. So that is synopsis to your flowers while you live. So I want people to know how I feel about them while they can hear me, while they can see me, while they can feel me. You know, everybody shows love in different ways, and everybody receives love differently. So those 5 love languages, and it's probably more, we need to learn about our loved ones so we can show them in their love language how we feel about them. I am adamant about that. So that really tore me up. But COVID stopped the Sylvia's Queens. So in 2022, 2022, I did another one, a smaller one. And I was actually supposed to crown the women, my queens. And these were people that were inspirational in my life. I wanted them to know how they impacted my life while they can hear it. I don't want to get up at someone's funeral and say the things that they could have heard me say to them when they were alive. That's just me. I'm not saying anything about anybody else. I'm talking about me. But I do hope that can change. But for me, I want you to hear, I want you to see, and I want you to feel me while you live. And if you're one of my queens, I want to crown you so you can have that while you live. That tore me up inside, but it also let me know that what I'm doing with these crowns is really, really, really important. I think that is important for the family, for however the family want their loved ones to be viewed and seen, or however they do. That's their funeral. That's important to them. I loved that idea for them and for her. Like I said, I just had never seen that because I don't go to funerals since my mom passed. And that's been a good minute, years actually. But so we get up and we go around. I don't look in the casket, but I did see the pictures again up closer because I saw them in the back from the end. And her mom, which was my friend, uh I gave her a hug, and she said that she had been asking about me and looking for me. Don't leave without giving me your number. And I did leave without giving her my number. So I will make sure that she gets that number. But I want to talk about some etiquette in funerals. Something that really baffles the heck out of me when the family asks, when you go around to view the body, to leave out and let the family grieve the way the family needs to grieve with their loved one for that little bit of time that they have left before the cemetery. I don't understand why people want to come back in or don't want to leave out. How does that make you feel watching other people grieve? For the life of me, I don't get it at all. I never will. Before even my mom died, I would leave out because people need to grieve the way they need to grieve, and they don't need everybody looking at them. And especially if they ask you, why not follow their instructions, especially if you care about them. So to me, it's being nosy, or you just want to see how that person is gonna act, or if this person is gonna fall out, or stuff like that. What difference does that make? I just don't get it. And then when the ushers come and close the door because people are still standing at the door looking in after you've been asked not to, then I'm walking around to go out. There's 4 other doors and people are still there. So the ushers didn't get to make it to those doors, I guess. So I'm just like shaking my head like, why? Now I get it if you because I don't know how many rows they leave in. It's normally 2. But those are the ones that's the closest, but to the deceased. But I don't know if it was 2 or 3 rows that they had left in because, like I said, I had went out. But I'm watching these people looking through the doors, and then the ushers come and close the door, and then I'm leaving to go out because my cousin rode with me, and she's gonna go to the cemetery. I was not going to the cemetery, so she had to come get something out of my car. So we are walking to go around the other doors, and people are just in the doors just looking. And like I said, I'm just shaking my head because I'm like, the disrespect, I just don't get it, but what I was about to say was only one thing that I could think of that people might want to see or wait for if they have a loved one and they had to leave out, that they know is gonna have a hard time dealing with it. And when that person goes up, they want to go in and be there for that person. That's the only reason that I would think of. But I'm sure the ushers are there and there's other people there that can console them as well. And you can console them when they come out. This is just me thinking, just me talking out loud. But I do have a book about etiquette coming out about funerals and what to say and what not to say when someone passes away, because the disrespect is horrible. And some of this stuff is just ingrained in us because that's the way we were raised and brought up, to say certain things, not meaning them, but that's just what comes out because that's the correct thing to say or the correct thing to do, when it's really not, because we don't even think about it. It just comes out. And then, well, I'm not even going to get into that. We'll talk about that when the book comes out. But I would like to hear in the comments about what I said. How do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about when the family asks you to leave out and you don't leave out, or you don't want to leave out, or you stay and watch until the ushers come and close the doors? What do y'all feel about that? Give me your feedback. Just for me, and a person that has been through many losses, and my mom's side of the family is dwindling down, so it's only one auntie left and her children on my mom's immediate side, and so that's not a lot, and me and my children, and that's not a lot. So as these people are leaving the earth, it takes a toll on me because of my mom, and the legacy of her is gone or leaving, and the person that could have shared some of that, because my uncle was double related to me, so on my mom's and my dad's side, but he was the historian to us, so he would always tell us some things about my dad's side and my mom's side. Because family members, I believe, y'all, that we need to gain all the knowledge and get all the legacy building that we can to pass on to our family. And also, just for our own heritage to have, we need to know what ailments that our family members had, so we can know how to combat some of those things, because it might be hereditary. We can also find out things that our family members used to do, that if one of our children or somebody we know is doing those things, we know where it come from. And then I'm going to let y'all go after this. You know, people always say, you didn't just learn how to do that. You didn't just learn how to do that. You didn't know how to do that. But sometimes it just happens. And I have some stories that I can share of some things that I knew how to do that I hadn't researched. Nobody taught me. I didn't see on TV. Any of that. So I have to believe that it was hereditary because I didn't know how to do all of this stuff. And I'm like, wow. So sometimes we need to know, not sometimes, we need to know these things about our family, and we need to pass these things on. And the eulogy that this Dr. Pastor gave, oh my God, was amazing. And it was about time, and I speak about time often. So back to the show, about to close out. Giving people their crowns, and this one is for a female, but I have crowns for males as well, because I have started crowning men my kings. Give them their crowns while they live, while they can hear them, while they can see them, and while they can feel them. And most of all, while they can wear them. Give people their flowers, while their crowns and their flowers, while they live. If this video was helpful to you, or if you think it might be helpful to someone else, please share it out. Please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, and please hit that subscription bell notifications to all. I will come back next week with another grief topic, and hopefully a tea talk as well. Thank you for listening to my grief moment, and I really, honestly and truthfully hope that this inspires someone, or that someone is listening to what I just said would think about it if you're doing it.